languages are absolutely beautiful thing. Like, languages are the cultures. But I can tell you this, that, Uzbekistan is a beautiful country to have as well, especially when it comes to family values. Uzbekistan is a great country. Like, actively encourage people to invest. I always encourage people to invest into your pensions, invest into your things, and if you can, and if it's yes, and if you've got the right people, if you've got the right finances, and if you've got the right risk, and if you can take that risk, and if you've got the right sort of skill sets, you can do it, go for it. You are the sum total of the people who surround you. If you hang out with losers, you become the loser. Like, if you got 4 loser friends, you're gonna be the 5th loser. If you got the 4 smart friends, you're gonna be the 5th one. It's a rule of nature and stuff. Today, you should be a better human than yesterday. Everything is progress. What is the happiness? Happiness is in the progress.
Kelinglar, qarshilar bilan kutib olamiz Mr. Jamesni.
Hi guys, how you doing? All right.
Hello, Mr. James. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Sizlarga ma'lumot bilishinglar uchun Mr. James bular UKdan native speakerlar. Mr. James ingliz tilida fikrlilar, даже ingliz tilida tushlarni ham ko'radilar. Поэтому bizani bugun intervyuimiz Mr. James tomonidan mix bo'ladi. Ya'ni o'zbek tilida ham, ingliz tilida ham javob berishlari mumkin, chunki ularda o'zbek tilini biladilar, lekin ingliz tilida gapirish ularga osonroq. Ammo men savollarni o'zbek tilida beraman. Поэтому sizlarga hammasi tushunarli bo'ladi. Mr. James, are you ready to start?
Well, let's have a look. Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody. Thanks for coming out on this beautiful day. I know you could have stayed at home and chill and relax, but you chose to be here and, came to this event. So, thank you.
Hop. Birinchidan, boshlashimiz uchun o'zingiz haqida qisqa ma'lumot bering.
Right, sure. Okay. For those who don't know, my name is James. I was born in Tashkent. I grew up here. I studied here. And then I was fortunate enough to grow up in UK and studied there at school, college, university, and other qualifications. Right. And
Sizga birinchi savolim.
Okay.
Siz UKni qaysi shahardansiz va sizni hududingizda, ya'ni regioningizda qanday accent odatiy?
Oh, okay, cool. Right, I think I should sort of mix it, right, with English and Uzbek as well. So yeah, like I said, I studied initially at at private school. So I studied in American school, and when I moved to UK, I actually had a very American accent. So my mates used to call me, Yankee. Here the Yankee comes. So I used to get bullied quite a bit for my accent, and I initially lived in a small city called Reading. Reading is sort of a little bit out of London. And after that, I entered to the City College in London, and I did my education there at City College. And after that, I entered to Institute of Commercial Management, and there I did business studies. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with business studies. And once I got my degree from there, I moved to I got a few scholarships from University of Buckinghamshire, University of Westminster, University of what was it, King's College, and I also got a place at University of Oxford Brookes. I did my major in applied accountancy and finance, so that was that. And after that, I did some qualification called CIMA, which is a Chartered Management Accounting. And I have done the qualification in ACCA as well, and CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst Level 1, and some other qualifications like CMAP as well.
Bitta savol. Mana siz aytdingizki, birinchi boshida sizda American accent bo'lgan, keyin Britishga o'tib ketgan. Qanaqa qilib mana shunaqa o'tdi? Qanaqa qilib o'rgandingiz British accentni?
I believe your surrounding really matters, like people that surround you, like in Uzbek, like you call them atrof muhit. So like atrof muhit, like people and everything sort of affects you in this. And I've been told numerous times that my accent actually sounds more of like a South African rather than British. So South Africalik accentga qirg'ochim British accentga, and yeah. So I believe like the people that surround you, like daily communications you have with your friends, with your classmates, with your neighbors, people that you go out with, and all those people sort of influence you. I mean, you sort of pick them up subconsciously, like bilmasdan turib, естественно, vaqt o'tgan sari ko'taverasizlar. But your accent is your identity. I don't know why people in Uzbekistan, like I taught so many students, and there is a very clear obsession when it comes to accent in Uzbekistan, and I believe like you shouldn't really sort of worry about it. Like when it comes to accents, I think it is your identity. Like Uzbeks have Uzbek accent, Russians have Russian accents. Americans got their own accents, Canadians, so is everybody else. So you shouldn't sort of skip it. Like you should embrace it. Like you should really take it. Like qabul qilish kerak. То, что yeah, in o'zbekcha как aytilganda anaqa qozonda bori cho'michga chiqadi. Yeah, this sort of things.
O'zi mana nimaga deb o'ylaysiz? Shuncha har xil turib bizada aksentlar bor. Ya'ni British o'zini necha xil aksentlari bor. Nimaga unaqa bo'lib ketgan o'zi?
British has got very interesting history when it comes to these sort of accents. I mean, they conquered, and inflow of so many people coming into UK as well. Like within London itself, like it's divided into like many parts. Like London is like a city, like Tashkent, but in Tashkent you don't have that. For example, in London you have something called like West London accent, South London accent, East London accent, like Cockney, like the one that you usually see in the mafia movies. I'm sure most of you have seen the movies like Gentleman and stuff, like where you get to see variety of accent, East London accent, Yuzhny accent, Severny accent, and this is just in London itself. Like imagine in Tashkent you have it like Toshkentcha accent, как to'rttaga bo'lingan. И точно так же это часть культуры.
O'zi ingliz tildan tashqari qaysi tillarni yana bilasiz?
Well, I've studied quite a few languages. I can't say I'm very, very good at some of them. I know a little bit of Uzbekcha, естественно. I know a little bit of Russian, a little bit of English. That's what I know. I studied French. I studied Spanish and Italian as well, and it was a part of curriculum at school as well. So yeah, like those are. Oh yeah, Turkish. Yes, Türkçe söylüyorum. Evet. Yeah. Çok teşekkürler.
Mana ingliz tilini bilib turib, qolgan barcha tillarni yodlash osonroqmi yoki qiyinroqmi?
For those who are very interested in the languages, I believe languages are absolutely beautiful thing. Like, languages are the cultures. I mean, for those who are learning English in here, like people who are learning English, you will be very, very surprised. Once your level reach to a certain extent, like once you become intermediate, upper intermediate, and you can speak comfortably, fluently in the languages, if you ever to dive in to the Spanish, okay, you will learn Spanish very easily as well. For example, like any word like in English which ends with tion in English, you have them in Spanish. For example, expectation, right? It will be expectación in Spanish as well. So you yourself know quite a few vocabulary in the other languages as well, like Spanish and Italian as well, without knowing it. But if you want to dive into more languages, I believe learning Dutch, German, okay, will be easier for you, as well as Spanish. It will come much handy. It's like you knowing Uzbek and learning Turkish, because you yourself know quite a bit of Turkish words as well, because Turkish words and Uzbek words are quite familiar, or Russian words and Ukrainian, they are very sort of connected. And just like this, English is also connected with many other languages like German, like you can pick up easily Dutch, you can pick up quite comfortably Spanish, Italian. And by the way, you're very lucky because you can speak Russian as well. For those who can speak Russian, the grammar-wise from learning French language will be much easier, because the grammar in Russian and French are sort of similar. I hope that helps.
Mana bizani ko'p o'quvchilarimiz ingliz tili IELTSga tayyorlanishadi-da, va yuqori ball olish uchun ko'p sovetlar bor, tavsiya bor, ya'ni ingliz tilida fikrlash kerak. Qanaqa saviyat bera olasizki, o'quvchilar ingliz tilida fikrlashni boshlashiga?
Okay. This is one of those interesting questions. I need to be honest with you. People think, I mean, you might be thinking like, oh, I'm learning English. Yeah, you are learning English. Yeah, you're picking up the language as well. But apart from learning the English language itself, you also need to understand that you need to learn the culture. For example, if you pick an average Uzbek student, Uzbek student who speaks Uzbek and stuff, and you compare that with English-speaking person, there's a massive difference in terms of the knowledge and information. Many students and teachers as well don't realize there's a gap when it comes to the knowledge and the information as well, meaning that once you know the English, it's like a key, it's like a MasterCard. It's a key, the golden key that opens up many doors, meaning that you should be indulged in much more information. You need to be reading more, you need to be studying more about a particular thing. Your advantage, what's your advantage in terms of other person who doesn't speak English? Well, many R&Ds, research and developments, are actually conducted in English, and you have the access to an ocean of information rather than in Uzbek. So things that you read in Russian, things that you read in Uzbek, it's most likely translated from English, or some researcher from some university has carried out research on a particular field, and with that they translate that into Uzbek, which means your information, your chain of information that you're getting, it's a bit far. But if you can speak the English, you don't need that middle chain. You can easily sort of get the information first, and that helps a lot, especially if you want to sort of start early, invest early, like, put your money into some places, you want to get into some new things. That's where it comes very handy, like knowing more information. Like your habit should be basically reading more than the person who's sitting next to you, because in the end of the day, whether you like it, you don't like it, okay, it's life, and in life it's a competition. You are basically competing against somebody else. So more you know, the more you earn. That's how it goes.
Mana hamma o'quvchilarga qiziqarli bo'lsa kerak. Native bo'lib tursa, bu IELTS dan 100% 9 oladi deganimi?
Yo'q. Yo'q. Okay. Students should realize that, language will help you. Yet again, it will help you, yes, like knowing the language will help you. But IELTS is a technical exam. There are certain ways of doing things, like when it comes to reading, writing, and other things. I remember I had a friend of mine, and we used to do, we did something called O-levels and A-levels. If you know, O-levels and A-levels are something like, in Tashkent you have 11th class, right? In Tashkent you study 11 years. In UK you studied 12 years. Now, my friend's dad helped him to pass the exam. He had to write essays and stuff. So he asked his dad, like, "Dad, can you please help me?" And he's an accountant as well. He's like Charlotte, very smart, clever man. And he wrote the essay for his son. And you're not going to believe, he got C- or C+, I don't remember, meaning that the person he speaks only one language, and that's English, and yet he gets C as well. I'm talking about technicalities. So if you want to get good scores in the IELTS, what has to be done? It's definitely number of hours you put in, definitely the techniques that you improve, definitely the time management, definitely the resistance to stress, because there's a stress as well. You'll be surprised, like if you do the same tests, like the readings or whatever, under no time or whatever, you can actually perform much better. But because of the time, like you look at that clock, like and it goes like tick 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 tick, and you're like, oh my god, I haven't done that, like you feel stressed, like your heart starts pumping, and that sort of puts you off map. So to answer your question, like knowing the language will help you, but IELTS is technical things. More you practice, more you do the correct, you shouldn't just study, you should study smart. Like people say, like study hard. No, it's not just about studying hard, it's also studying smart, like analyzing your time, analyzing how many questions you are answering, how many tests have you done, how many tests are done correctly, how much are you getting it. You need to divide into the percentages pass rate percentages and divide that pass rate percentages into the times. What's your conversion level? Like, how quickly are you answering to each question? Are you answering it in 30 seconds, or are you answering in 3 minutes for one question? Obviously, if you're answering 3-4 minutes for one question, which means you're losing a lot of time. So that's a skill that comes with practice and time, and never giving up, basically trying it. So that's what I can say about it.
Sizda IELTS bormi, Mr. James?
Yeah, I've taken it twice.
Necha chiqdi eng yuqorisi?
8.5. I got 8.5. I've done it twice when I was at university and stuff, like before university level and stuff. Yeah, I got 8.5. I got quite good in the speaking and listening, which was like 9.9. And my reading, I remember once I got 8.5, and I think my writing was 8 or something. But yeah, something like that.
Mana shu IELTSda siz uchun eng qiyini qaysi biri? Ya'ni qaysi section? Listening, reading, writing yoki speaking?
Yet again, it depends on the question. Okay, each section can be difficult, but the one that takes a bit of effort to sort of get it, it's, I think, writing. I believe writing that sort of takes, because your ideas, what you're thinking in your head is just sort of messed up. So putting them in a nice structure and putting them clear, and when the examiner sort of reads your writing, can he really get the message? Like, what is it that you're trying to say to the examiner? So I think that sort of takes a bit more practice. And obviously, the problematic part with the writing is the fact that you need to write quite a bit and then get it checked. And some students do fantastic in introduction, and they do horribly bad in the paragraph 1 or paragraph 2, or in conclusion, or can be either way around. The introduction is a bit messy, but the conclusion is sort of clear. So yeah, I would say writing is something that sort of takes time, but at the same time, I'm not going to dismiss any other. Like, anybody who's getting like sort of a mark from reading, writing, speaking, listening, whatever, at times can be difficult. There's lots of variation in the equation that sort of affects your outcome.
Men oxirgi yillarda ingliz tili juda o'zgarib ketdi. Masalan, don't, doesn't, dishurni ko'plar ain't deydi. Sizning fikringiz bo'yicha ingliz tili o'zgaryaptimi va qaysi jihatlarda o'zgaryapti?
I believe that languages are like people. Like languages are the reflection of people in the society itself, meaning that people, just like people grow and change and grow old, languages do the same thing as well. The languages grew phases. There's lots of factors. I mean, technology can affect the language, and many other things obviously can affect the language. I'll give you a simple example just for you to sort of grasp it. For example, everybody knows Google, right? So the word Google was officially input into the Oxford Dictionary. Now, the Google can be a verb as well. For example, Google me. Okay, he Googled me. So, but if you travel back 30 years, and if you have a time machine and you travel back 30 years, and you say to somebody, hey, can you Google it? Or did you Google it? Or can you Google me? Whatever. They will be like, what the hell is Google? Like, they're not going to get it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the languages, they do change. And they do change on a daily basis. There are so many words that die out on a daily basis. And there are so many words that, born on daily basis because of the technology, health, and many other factors that influence it. I hope that answers your question.
Mana ko'p o'quvchilar IELTS speakingda 9 olishi orzusi bor va yana natural eshitilish uchun qanaqa maslahat bergan bo'lardingiz?
That's a good question. Like how to sound natural. I mean, there are quite a few factors and games you can play in order to sound more natural. I play with my students some techniques. I use some techniques with my students. One of them is called shadowing method. Have you ever heard about shadowing method? Shadowing method. So what you do is this one. You know what's a karaoke is, right? Karaoke. So in the shadowing method, the concept is very simple and basic, but it's quite tedious way, but it does wonders for you. So you put on a text. You can download the audiobook, and what you do, you get your headphone, you put headphone in one ear, and one you leave it out empty, and you will play it. And as the speaker reads out the text for you, you put the volume a bit down, and you listen and you repeat as he goes through the text. So it goes like, once upon a time in a far, far land. So you go like, oh, once upon a time in a far, far land. So you just repeat with what you listen. So idea in here to sort of copy the intonation and the voice and the sound as clearly as you can, and that does work. And I'm not saying that this is like it works because KGB, if you know, CIA and all the spies all around the world, MI5 and all the words, or all the spies all around the world, in order to learn the language quickly, this is one of the methods that they use.
Man IELTSga tayyorlanayotganimda men bitta maslahat olganman.
Aha.
ChatGPT bilan gaplashish kerak edi. Ya'ni siz nima deb o'ylaysiz shu haqida? Ya'ni ChatGPTga prompt berasiz, ya'ni mani IELTS strukturidagi baholagan qilib. Keyin u sizga savol beradi, shu savolga audio qilib yozib berishingiz kerak, unga gapirib berishingiz kerak. Shu qanchalik foydali?
Okay, well, I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. Like, I have heard students saying that, yeah, I mean, ChatGPT does wonders. It's an amazing company. It has, it has created something that many companies were not able to. I believe, it can work. It can work, but it really, I think having a person to whom you can talk to on a daily basis would help you a lot. But yeah, I think it's one of those tools you should have in your bank and then use it. Yeah, can't say much about that.
Keling, o'zi mana native speaker nimaligini bilib olaylik. Mana ona tili sifatida native speaker nima degani bu? Ya'ni qanaqa bo'lish kerak native speaker bo'lish uchun?
Well, what does a native speaker means actually? I mean, it has quite a few definitions in the vocabulary. Native speaker is somebody who, in the old definitions, was somebody who was born in the country, or somebody who's got the only one language who he uses, but I believe if you are one of those people who actually use certain language on a daily basis, and this is what's the language that you think, this is the language that you communicate on a daily basis, and there's no any other languages that you use apart from this one, or your input and output mostly in that particular language, and I believe that sort of helps you to be sort of a native speaker. Yeah, it's a quite interesting. There are a few definitions. One agree, one disagree with another.
Mana siz Britain bo'lib turib, ingliz tilida ashula eshitgansiz 100%. Va mana ashula aytilganda, masalan, Eminem ashulalari. Siz lyriclarni, ya'ni so'zlarini tushunasizmi eshitib turib?
Okay. Yeah, some of them, yes. Not all of them, not fully. People need to realize that, there are cultural factors as well. Like cultural factors, meaning that there are slangs that are used in the music industry that ordinary person, like even a native, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just the slangs as well, like a broken language. So overall, like sort of the lyrics itself, yeah, it's clear, but there are some phrases. For example, the one that I can sort of come up and tell you. For example, okay, I'm gonna bounce in 6-2, or you're gonna bounce in 6-2. Okay, what does that mean? If you put that in a Google, it will tell you like a bounce, like you know what bounce means? Bounce like the ball. If you take it, you drop it, the ball, bang, bang. That's a bounce. Okay, so I'm gonna bounce in 6-2, which means I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna, get the hell out of here. Yeah.
Keling, biroz yoshligingizni bilib olaylik. Mana siz aytdingiz, bu yerda O'zbekistonda tug'ilgansiz va bu yerda maktabni bitirgansiz. O'zbekiston maktabi va Britaniya maktabi farqi nimada? Shu aytib bersangiz biroz.
Okay. I mean, both Uzbekistan is a young country. Uzbekistan is going through a lot of changes, and it's a beautiful country. There are so many advantages that I can think of living in Uzbekistan. But many people, many students that I talk to, they say like, "Oh my God, I want to leave this country. I want to live somewhere else." Like, Americaga ko'chib ketaman, Aytga ko'chib ketaman. And they sort of think that, oh, Uzbekistan is a horrible country for many, 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 many reasons. They will give you countless reasons why they don't like living in here. But I can tell you this, that, Uzbekistan is a beautiful country to have as well, especially when it comes to family values. Uzbekistan is a great country, like to raising your kids. I believe it's safe, it's a nice country. But when you talk about education wise, yeah, there are some changes that needs to be done in here, and there are many factors why the education is not so good. Like, I mean, if you compare the education in Uzbekistan and then to Finland, for example, the salary salary gap is obviously huge. Like in countries like Finland, teachers would have 6-figure salary, like earning over 120k or whatever. But compare that with Uzbekistan, where the salary is quite low, and then entry level, like becoming a teacher, it's much easier, and that creates a lot of problems. Like that creates a lot of incompetent teachers, who in turn raise incompetent students. And therefore, for example, like you yourself here, like you coming here to study the language English. Why are you coming here and learning English language? Why not learning at school? Because obviously the tutors, the quality of teachers are not good there, is it? So, if it was, you wouldn't be here, would you? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there is a difference in terms of like standards, which will get better, I'm sure, over the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years as well, as long as the Ministry of Education will put more impact and accent and attention into the development of education. There's lots of differences there.
O'zi umumiy keling, Britaniya bilan O'zbekiston solishtirib ko'ramiz. Qanaqa farqlari bor va qanaqa o'xshashlari bor?
Okay. O'xshashlari и farqlari. Okay. Насчет farqlari, man nima deya olayman? Okay. Diversification. Like in Uzbekistan, it's Uzbeks. Like, like mostly Uzbeks. Yes, we have different nationalities living in Uzbekistan as well, but it's mostly Uzbeks. Like you have some Uzbeks, you have some Russians, some Koreans, some people from Tatarstan, like Tatars, and things, which is, so diversification in Uzbekistan is not that much. And it has, obviously, I don't want to get into the politics and the social politics, but the country is, it's diverse enough. But you compare that with the United Kingdom, you will be able to find any person from any part of the world. And obviously, living in the country where there are a lot of different people from different backgrounds creates different problems as well, because of the values. For example, you guys are Muslims, right? So you are Muslims, you believe in Islam, you believe in Allah. So there are certain things that you wouldn't do, there are certain things that you would do, and but in the UK it's not the same. So these are the sort of factors that can affect it. So yeah, from that we can sort of say.
Biza hozir internet juda rivojlanib ketganiga biza amerikalik yoki britaniya kinolar ko'ramiz. Va savolim borki, mana kinodagi bor narsalar, har xil uylar, har xil activity qiladiganlar. Rostakasam Britaniya, Amerikadan xuddi shunaqa yashashadimi odamlar? Lifestyle bir xilmi kino bilan va haqiqiy hayot bilan?
O'xshaydi. O'xshashlari juda ko'p. No, естественно, farqlari ham ancha bor. We need to realize the fact that it's a movie. What's the objective of the movie and the Hollywood? The Hollywood is trying to, sell the idea. Sell the idea that they need to portray something, they need to show. Because if something is very plain and boring and stuff, you're not going to watch that movie, you're not going to watch that film or series, whatever it is. So there has to be some exaggeration as well. That's a pure fact. But there are similarities. There are similarities in terms of like work-life balance. Okay, people working Monday to Friday and having Saturday, Sunday off. Like a Friday is sort of a short day. After Friday, many people would sort of shoot to pub. Pub is like like a chaykhana in Tashkent, that sort of a concept. People just go there, sit, drink, and talk and play whatever. And Saturday is just mostly like a family day, and Sunday people go to church, okay, and then go to church and spend time with the other families and friends and other activities. So there are some similarities, but obviously it's a film industry. Film industry are there to depict something. Like if you ever watched old films as well, when the Cold War was happening between Uzbekistan and the Soviet Union, you can see that like they would portray the Soviet Union as the most horrible place to live in and whatnot. So the Hollywood, the movie industry, plays a very, very, very extremely important role in the perception of people. And what I want to say to people is like grass is not always greener on the other side. So there are plus and minuses in every aspect.
Mhm.
Hope it helps.
Keling bizga Old Britain bilan New Britain solishtirib bering.
Okay, there's a big topic. Okay, Old Britain and New Britain. Okay. For those who love history, it's no secret. Like Britain was a huge, massive empire. It conquered 1/6 of the world. 1/6 of the world. It's massive. And there was a saying in English as well. Sun never sets on a British empire. Do you know what it means? Sun never sets on a British empire means like whenever it gets darker in one city, the sun would be rising in another place, because under British Empire, like I said, they ruled over 1/6 of the country of the world. Like United States, United States, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Europe, parts of Africa, and many, many, many other places as well. And that's why it was a huge, huge empire. And right now, the Britain obviously has a very important role on the global politics and on the global arena. But compare that to what it used to be. If you ever to talk to native Englishmen and English people, British people, they would say like, "Oh my God, my country used to be so amazing. Now look at it, what it turned to. Like it has gone down the rail."
Mana biz bilamiz, Britaniyada Queen bor va King bor. Xo'p, men eshitganmanki, ular hech narsa qaror qilishmaydi va ko'p qoidalarni, qonunlarni premier ministerlar hal qiladi.
Yes.
O'sha Queen va Kingni o'zini qanaqadir ishi bormi? Ya'ni roli bormi yoki ular faqatgina face bo'lib turadimi?
Well, yeah, I mean, King and Queen has a very strong influence over the politics as well. I mean, if you know the political system in the United Kingdom, it goes from the lower parliament to upper parliament, and from there, once it's been signed off and it's been sort of agreed, it's push up to the Queen, and they would sign off the document. They are very involved in a day-to-day. They very involved in some part of the politics and stuff. But they usually do what? They meet other kings and queens and stuff. And the overall British people, they love their monarchs. They love their kings and queens. There are some scandals happening every now and then, but their majesties, they absolutely love and adore and respect them. And plus, it's good for tourism as well. People actually go to see this, like to see their king and the queen and their majesties, the Buckingham Palaces and Windsor Castles and many places. So it actually plays in favor of the country, like bringing in tourists to see this. It's a quite unique as well. So there's more advantages rather than disadvantages in the monarch.
Mr. James, mana bizga yana bitta aytib bersangiz, Britaniyani universitetlari yaxshi universitet deb hisoblanadimi? Va siz qaysi universitetda o'qigansiz va nima uchun?
Okay. Education system in Britain, it's one of the best ones in the world. But for example, as I've been living in Tashkent for a bit, there's a quite perception. Like, for example, if you ask students, "Hey guys, what's the best university in Tashkent?" They will tell you like, "Oh, Westminster," or they would say like Webster, or a few universities. In UK, yeah, but it's a little bit different there. Like, systematization of the universities are based on the subjects. Like, for example, certain subjects are taught really well in particular university, but that same degree is not as well as in the more popular universities. So and the ranking, they produce a ranking every year for the top universities for certain degrees, and that's the concept. So for example, let's say for you to understand, let's say you want to study IT and then you enter Westminster University, but there are some fantastic professors at University of Webster. So, but Westminster is very popular. Everybody knows Westminster. But that particular degree, when it comes to, I don't know, computer science, are much better taught at University of Webster, or I don't know, INHA, or in Tattoo, you call them. So ranking is based on what subjects are taught better at what universities.
Yeah. Siz qaysi universitetda o'qigansiz?
I studied, well, I've got 6 different qualifications, mostly, 5 different qualifications. So Institute of Commercial Management, University of Oxford Brookes, Oxford, Applied Accountants and Finance. My profession was auditor. I think you call them auditor as well in Tashkent. So yeah.
Nega aynan shu universitetni tanlagansiz?
I actually wanted to do my major in economics. I wanted to be an economist and economist or politician, politicum, international relations. But at that time, when I was like your age, when I was young, what happened was, I don't know if you remember this time, 2008, world crisis, housing crisis happening, big companies are collapsing, Lehman Brothers, I don't know if you heard about them. So the big banks, BlackRock and many other companies were having, crisis, and the global recession has started. So that was not the best time to study that particular field of economics, because after graduating, can I find a job? I mean, in the end of the day, whether you like it or not, you are putting money into the education. This is money. So you put money into education with the hope that once you graduate, you can become a professional specialist who can get their money back. So how high will be your ROI, like a return on the investment? How quickly can you get your money back? So you spend, I don't know, on Westminster University, let's say, I don't know how much you spend, like $30,000, whatever. Like if you calculate all of them, like your transport, your contract, your things, your exam, your pocket money, and everything, it can come up to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Now, how quickly will you be able to get that money back? Like, how quickly can you get that money back? Like, once you graduate from that university. So this is something like you have to be very objective in terms of making your decision, because it has a direct correlation with your future. And that happened quite a few times. I had friends who studied some funny degrees, like philosophy with the art, and they had the best time of their life at the university. They were going to parties, this and that, ping pongs. But then once they graduate, where do they go? Do they go to McDonald's to work? When will you get your money back from the McDonald's? So that's one of those sort of things. So you don't want to do a degree that will not produce a viable outcome for the money time that you have invested into the university.
Agar siz hozir vaqtni orqaga qaytarganingizda, tasavvur qilamiz, siz mana hozir 16, 17, 18 yoshsiz. Qaysi fakultetni, qaysi majorni tanlagan bo'lardingiz?
Okay, right. That's a good question. I think I would still stick with if I could go back in time, I think I would choose. I think I would go with either with finance as well, like preferably studying in finance, but I would like to get into merger and acquisition. I had friends who worked in the MA, like merger and acquisition. It's one of those very niche sort of a topic, the jobs that you can get into. It's not easy to get into, but the salary wise, it sort of makes good. And if I ever could go back in time, I was one of the first people who bought Bitcoin, so that helped me a lot when I was younger. And as the value of the Bitcoin sort of grew, it was it was a good investment of mine. Sort of, I would invest more in the bitcoins if I ever could go back in time. I bought 5,000 coins at that time, so that helped me a lot when I was sort of selling them and then buying a house, buying a car, paying for university tuition and stuff. I sort of made, but yeah, I think
5 mingta bitcoin dedingiz. Hozirgi paytda bu juda katta pul. Sir bo'lmasa,
No.
5 mingta bitcoin sotib, necha pul topdingiz?
it was good. I still have it, but I don't want to use it. Yes, yes.
Agar
Bitcoin, if
aniq
you
summani aytsangiz,
No,
Yo'q.
no.
sir bo'lib qoladi.
There are some things needs to stay secret. But I always actively encourage people to invest. I always encourage people to invest. Invest into your pensions, invest into your things. Buy right assets. Don't buy liabilities. Don't buy things that you don't need. This, expensive clothes, chains and mains and all that things is rubbish. It's better if you take your money, save them and put them into the right places, put them in S&P 500, put them in a FTSEs, put them into right places and, leave them. Because what's your plan? Your plan is once you're 45, 50 or whatever, 60, you have some sort of a cash, you've got a little bit of money, and with that money, you can do something with your future. So you don't need to work. You can just say something it's good to have FU money. You don't like something, FU. You don't like that, you don't like the job, yeah, F you. So it kind of helps. So invest early, because you're guys young, don't spend it, save it, invest it, put it into right places, and then just watch the money flow.
Hop, aniq narxini, aniq summani aytmasangiz, qancha bitcoinda, qancha bitcoiningiz bor hozir?
I have some.
1-2 mingta. 5 mingta bitcoin sotib olganman dedingiz.
No, less. But yeah, I think I'd rather keep that in a secret.
Hop, keling unda guess qilaylik. Men sizga aytay, siz higher yoki lower deysiz.
Nah. I'd rather not stick with this one. Yes.
Hop, bo'lmasa bu sizning sekretingiz qolsin.
Yes.
Hop. Unda mana yana bitta savol. Ko'p odamlar O'zbekistonda Britaniyadan qaraganda boyib ketish qiyinroq deb hisoblashadi. Sizning fikringiz qanaqa bunda?
O'zbekistonda boy bo'lib ketish qiyinroq,
Britaniyaga qaraganda.
Okay. Let's guys, let's try to look into it from the pragmatic point of view. This is you need to really understand how the world works. How the world works is like this. You exchange your skill sets, things that you can do for the money that the other person is willing to pay, certain skill sets and stuff. And making money in some countries, their fundamental jobs can get you earning basic income, earning basic money. Yeah, it's easier in foreign countries. But the beauty of Uzbekistan is this, and this is something that you can learn and then you can emerge from that one. Uzbekistan is a baby country. It's a baby country. Countries like UK and America, they're like a dedushka, They've got a lot. They've got loads of people. There are many people that they've gone through lots of stages. America and UK and many other developed countries. That's why they are developed country, and then Uzbekistan is underdeveloped country. And in here there are so many things that are not done, and you with the right intuition and mind and financing and right decisions, you can get into that field, into that market at a very early stage and help to develop that particular field that you are getting into. And since you got into this early, you can actually make some good money out of it. So so it's always easier to make money on emerging markets. Your job is very simple. Look there, see what's there, understand it, analyze it, and see if you can systemize that thing, that product or that service in the emerging market like Uzbekistan. And if you can, and if it's yes, and if you've got the right people, if you've got the right finances, and if you've got the right risk, and if you can take that risk, and if you've got the right sets of skill sets, you can do it, go for it. And especially when you're young, you can start something and you can lose something. Only thing you're going to lose is your time. Yeah, your time is valuable, but This is the time when you can make it and fail, make and fail, make and fail, and you're still going to be all right. But when you are, 40, 50 years old, you have to be much more risk averse. But when you're young, be a risk taker. Take some risks. See what you can do.
Mr. James, siz O'zbekistonga qachon qaytib keldingiz?
2019 and
Mana oxirgi 4-5 yillik shu yerda yashadingiz, oxirgi 4-5 yil.
Toshkentda.
Siz bu yerda O'zbekistondan ketgansiz eski O'zbekiston paytida. Hozir уже butuncha yangi O'zbekiston bo'ldi. Qaytib kelganingizda birinchi sezgan yengilliklar va O'zbekiston mana 4 yil, 5 yildan beri yashadingiz, O'zbekistonning eng yaxshi tarafini va qanaqadir bir kamchiliklarini aytsangiz?
People. I like people in Uzbekistan. I really, really do like the people in Uzbekistan. People are nice here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying like people are bad there or whatever. No. I'm just saying like people are nice. People are pure. They are friendly. They are eager to learn. They are welcoming and they are open. Yeah, I've met many bad people as well in Uzbekistan. There are bad people anywhere that you go to. But overall, if you take it, people are sincere in Uzbekistan as well. Like, they like you, they like you. They don't like you, they don't like you. This is something that I sort of, I paid attention to. And, and the food, it's out of this world. The food in Uzbekistan is genuinely one of the best ones I have tried. Yeah.
Birinchi o'ylagan narsangiz bu odamlar dedingiz. People dedingiz. Britaniyaning odamlarini va o'zbek odamlarini solishtirsangiz, nima farqi bor unda?
Well, like I said, in Britain, it's very multicultural and very diverse, and there are many other people from many other nations and many other countries. And whether we like it, we don't like it, in that sort of, homogeneous sort of society, there are some people, minorities or whatever, they make something, they do some crime, they commit something criminal and whatever, and that sort of puts a stamp on the whole society. Like, I don't know, like in Britain, for example, if you say like, I'm Russian, is he a part of a Russian criminal? Is he a mafia? That sort of mindset is just people have got. So I think that's why people in Britain are a little bit more, careful, and they want to sort of isolate themselves from all the people. Like, thank you, but no thank you, so nice knowing you, like, so much more. Whereas in people in Uzbekistan are much more, everybody's Uzbek, so like they are much more welcoming, like great,
Firstly, you said that you have studied many languages, and I want to ask that which languages have their future and which language are you most to study?
Thank you, that's an amazing question. Guys, what's an amazing thing is this, you are the sum total of the people who surround you. If you hang out with losers, you become the loser. Like, if you got 4 loser friends, you're going to be the 5th loser. If you got the 4 smart friends, you're going to be the 5th one. It's a rule of nature and stuff. The reason why I'm saying this, I've got quite a few friends that I hang out with, I spend my time with, and we actually have spoken about this very interesting topic. English definitely has become the world language. It will help you a lot in terms of opening the world and whatnot. But if you are ready and if you are willing to take the hard work and everything, I would say going and learning Mandarin would absolutely help you in the future. I've got a few friends who make business with China. They supply the whole Uzbekistan with fish food, animal food. They produce animal food. So he's got like massive investors from China as well. He mostly works with Guangzhou and things, and his suppliers and everybody, like, he speaks to them in English, in Chinese, and I always get amazed when he speaks in Chinese. So if you ever have time, sort out your English, get the English done, and after that, if you can, learn Mandarin, and that would help you a lot. If you want to dive into Arabic as well, it's a grey area as well, but yeah, it will help you a lot. Although Arabic people, they speak English, most of them, but if you want to build a very close relationship with those people, knowing the local language will put you far, far, far ahead than any other person. going to China, speaking English and making relationship, and going to China and speaking to them Chinese and building a relationship will always be better, because they will be willing to work with you than with the person who speaks English, purely because they know that you know the language, they know that you know the culture. It makes you much closer. I hope that helps you. Thank you.
Hello. Do you want to go back to America?
Okay, good question. Short term, in short term, I guess no. In the long term, maybe. It's visitation is always good, like, you know, going and visiting and spending some time. But I'm not young. I'm kind of getting old. But I believe if I want to retire, I want to retire in some country with my wife. Now, I don't know if she can agree to this, but I'm sort of thinking retire somewhere in Spain, Italy, or maybe south of France. So this is some places that I'm sort of thinking about.
And for studying American university, what we need? Which IELTS score and SAT and volunteer like this?
Okay. The IELTS. Here's an interesting thing when it comes to IELTS. Depending what you're gonna be studying, depending what you want to do, this is where the IELTS matters. Let's say if you want to study medicine, and you want to be a doctor at UCLA, right? Then you need to have minimum seven comfortably from the IELTS and stuff, because the language it's obviously not easy. But if you want to do something simpler, something much more simple, then IELTS 6 should be enough for you as well. The rest you pick it up while living in the country. So I hope that helps. Best of luck in your studies.
Concerning your accomplishments, do you believe in fate or luck, or it's all about your dedication and hard working?
It's a very interesting question, to be honest with you. I like being open with my students. I have loads and loads of students, and I have taught loads of students, and they love me and I love them. One of the reasons why my students always love me is because I'm always open with them. I'm like to some of my students, they are very emotional with me. We have very strong connections. Some of them see me as a brother. Some of them see me as a second father, an uncle, and whatnot. And to answer your question, when I was younger, I would say no. When I was younger, I would say definitely no. Like, I don't believe in fate, I would say yes, I would say that. But right now, as I sort of grow older and becoming a little bit wiser than I used to be, you just become wiser. There are things in life you can control, and there are things in life you cannot control. It just depends on somebody else. It depends on external factors. It can be your business partner, it can be your wife, it can be your husband, it can be your brother, sister, mother, father, whatever, or workplace, your boss. It can be anything. Like, you cannot control somebody else's move, but what you can control is you. And especially Eastern philosophy is very interesting about that when you dabble into it. And you should focus only on the things that you have influence on, only things that you can control. Like, what can you control? What is your job? You can control yourself, your thoughts, your moves. Like, be careful what you're thinking about, because what you're thinking about will shape your habits. Be careful of your habits, because your habits will shape your routine. Be careful of your routine, because your routine will create your lifestyle. Be careful of your lifestyle, because that will create your life. And it's a very deep thing. So everything starts within the thought. Now, if to answer your question, I would say just focus on yourself and try to be better. Be better than what you are now. Your job is very simple. Today you should be smarter than yesterday. Today you should be healthier than yesterday. Today you should be kinder than yesterday. Today you should be nicer than yesterday. Today you should be a better human than yesterday. Everything is progress. What is the happiness? Happiness is in the progress. Every daily progress that you make on your life make you happy. Your job is to be better than you are, better than you were yesterday. So to trust the fate, yes, there are some fates, some variables, but only thing you can control is yourself, and the rest, leave it to the faith. And like my Arab friends say, inshallah, everything will be mashallah.
My question is about British university. Sorry, I don't speak English language very well because I'm only beginner level. That's why my question is Uzbek language.
Okay, sure.
Britaniyada yashab kelgansiz va Britaniya universitetlari bilan O'zbekiston universitetlarini farqi. Britaniya universitetiga kirish hammamiz bilamiz oson emas va qaysi fakultetga kirishni maslahat berasiz? Kelajak kasbi sifatida va kirish uchun nimalarni maslahat berasiz? SAT
Okay, cool. Thank you, Rahmat. Okay, it's a very interesting question. Thank you. There is a very there's a very well studied statistics about it, and you can read it online as well. And it goes like this: by the time you study your degree, your diploma, and by the time you finish what you have studied, whatever you have studied is more likely to be outdated. It will be old and will not be used. I've got a few friends who work in Google. I've got a few friends who work in Facebook. I've got a few friends that work in JP Morgan, like the guys that I've studied with. And so they are extremely smart and talented guys that I've studied with. One of the, best guys that I've studied with. Now, in terms of studying in Britain, studying in European universities, whatever, I definitely recommend you. Yes, definitely go for it. In terms of the language, some of you might be thinking, oh, language is important to say. Yes, it is important for your studies as well. But apart from that, you need to learn how to be much more articulate in your speech as well. I'm not sure how the articulate translates in Uzbek. You need to learn how to speak smoothly, because once you finish your university, what you do is you will get a job. When you go to the job, there's an interview. I mean, there are pre-selection, selection, interview, pre-interview, interview, post-interview, and and then like induction weeks and stuff. So there are loads of stages. Now, ability to speak clean and clear and beautifully will help you a lot. Now, and that's why I always recommend, learn the art of speech, art of speaking. It will definitely help you. In terms of the studying, the degrees at the universities, something to do with the security analysis, mergers and acquisitions. If you want to go into finance, if you want to go into banking, HFTs are very good. High frequency trading, if you want to become a trader, it's also if you want to go into like a merger and acquisition, like I have said before, it's fantastic. If you want to go into the finance, accounting or something, ACCA, you will need to do something called bachelor's degree. After bachelor's degree, you need to do something called professional degree. It will help you a lot in your things. And if you ever think, one message you can take away from our meeting today is this: that if you think that you go to university, you finish university, and after finishing the university, that's it, you will work and your job is done, you are wrong. Absolutely wrong. This is something that will go continuously, especially if you want to become a professional. There's something called CPD, Continued Professional Development, which means, I don't know what field you want to go in for. I don't know what field you want to go into, but whatever field that you're going to go into, once you get your degrees, you will work, you get the qualifications, and then you do CPD, Continued Professional Development, and then you start getting to some positions. After that, you ask your, management, HR, whatever, to do your masters, and maybe they will pay for your masters as well, or you might get scholarships from the universities as well. And with that, you just go on to the next level. I hope that helps. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Va mani tomonimdan oxirgi savol. Agar imkon bo'lganda, O'zbekistonda nimani o'zgartirgan bo'lardingiz?
Okay. Medicine and taxation. Medicina va налоговая система. Why I'm saying this? I've been living in Uzbekistan for quite a few years now, and for a number of times I had issues with the medicine, the health like things, and yeah, I know it may sound harsh and it may sound wrong or something. One of those problems is that if you've got, I mean, it's same thing anyway if you sort of look at it, but if you've got money, you've got privileges, like, and like medicine for those people who are less fortunate. For those who are sitting here, like all of you who are sitting, you don't realize, you don't understand like how lucky you are, how privileged you are. All of you were born in a fairly rich and wealthy family. You've got mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather, and relatives and cousins, and they can pay for things like they can cover all expenses that you have. And I see most of the kids here, like young kids, they've got iPhones 14, 15, 16, all those expensive gadgets, and they've got monies and stuff, right? So like your parents, your family can afford it, and that's good, that's amazing, that's like flag вам руки, отлично, like that's really good. But unfortunately there are some families, if you've been around, who cannot afford it, who cannot help themselves. I am privileged. I cannot say I say alhamdulillah for this, so I'm privileged. But there are some families, there are some people who cannot afford the very, very, very basic things that you spend on a daily basis for small things like 100,000, 200, 500,000, whatever that you spend on this. For some people it's a big amount of money, and that sort of effect. And there are some people who cannot afford the medicine, and this is something that I would look into. And obviously taxation as well, because people pay tax, your families pay tax, people pay taxes, and allocating it and putting it in the right places and improving the medicine for everybody who needs it. I think this is like number one priority. Medicina.
Mr. James, sizga rahmat kattakon.
Sizga rahmat.
Javoblaringiz juda qiziqarli bo'ldi. Ikkalanglar qarsaklar chalib qo'yamiz Mr. Jamesga.